This is the ABUS EC880. It's got a nice blue plastic keybow, I think. So this lock, according to the listing, says that you do have to pick at 360 degrees, which means I'm expecting some sort of trap pin. I have not picked this yet, and I have not gutted it yet, so good luck to me, I suppose. So 1's not binding, 2 is, 3 is not, 4 is not, 5 definitely was, 6 is now binding pretty hard. Got a little bit of core movement there. So 1 is still binding. It's a high lift. Very high lift. I'm wondering if I'm oversetting it. We're just going to keep going. Oh, now it feels good. It just really is that high of a lift. So it's almost too hard to to push on it from that angle. Let's flip over a little bit. Yeah, that's set. Now we're on 3, I believe. Got some core movement. Don't know if it's enough to be a false set, but we'll find out if we get any counter rotation, which we immediately do on 4. Oh, dropping a lot of pins as we set that. Not a big deal. We just go hunt the binders down. There's definitely a little bit of an overset on one of those. Should be good now. There's a couple of definitely higher lift pins. Oh, even bumped one. There we go. Let's get one set too. Come in this way. Now set. We'll find that other very high lift we were working with. Constantly dropping. The nature of the game sometimes, especially when you don't know the exact binding order. But as long as you push on binding pins, you don't overset anything, you will get it open. Decent false set now. See if we can find any counter rotation. Like 6, our binder. Very hard binder. I can't even get my pick onto it. Let's try this other direction. Oh, don't know if it's set. don't think it quite is. May just not be something I can get at from this angle very well at all. A little bit of manual counter rotation allowed me to move that. He dropped one. Back from the other side just to get that last bit. Back into a nice false set. Feels like maybe 6. Definitely 6 or 4, somewhere in that region. Well, we set that, definitely dropped something else. It was 3. There we go. 4. 5. 6. All right, so we are open, but remember we got to go 360 degrees. So there is trap pins of some kind. What I'm going to do is we're going to go past these drivers, but I want to push something in there so that they don't come and lock us up. So these are usually made for gutting these, but I'm going to use it to get us through here without hopefully catching on anything. So I'll go like that. We got caught up anyways. It's possible our trap pin is sideways there. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really sure. Let's see if I take this out, push this in there. There we go. We got it passed. So we're just a little past 90 degrees. We got to get that full 360 for this to count. So I'm imagining when we get to this 180, we're going to get trap pins. So we now have Picking Adventure Part 2. Usually trap pins are caused by drivers locking back up. So let's go ahead and see. There's definitely some sort of mess going on in here. See if we can find whatever's binding. There's one. There's another. If we can get in this way. Make sure too none of our top key pins are doing anything funky. Right there, we're in a false set of some kind. See if we can find what gets us out of this false set. Oh, there we go. And that is our 360-degree pick. So now let's gut this and see how that worked. That's pretty cool. So I'll get my autofocus off here. And get my vise out of the way. Just forgetting. So you'll notice I definitely have a new setup going, but gives me nice black backgrounds. All right, the final boss is always the C-clip, as we know. Okay, we're going to use the key. Because we have traps and all kinds of I have no clues in here, we're definitely shimming. Like I said before, I had not picked this yet. Oh, we got a little clippy here. We're definitely shimming this since we have no clue what is inside. Not really sure why the shim doesn't want to go in. Could just be because I have an older one. There we go. It's going. Make sure we get it all the way in there. And as this is a dimple, this might be the larger size follower here. It looks like it is. We'll go ahead, get everything transferred over. I have no idea where the pins are on this setup, so hopefully nothing's going flying. All right, I got 2 pins on the side there. I got some sort of stuff on the bottom, as well as our standard key pins. So let's just get our standard key pins out first, I think. If they come out willingly. There was 5. Sending him for a journey. Sticking to my... They are steel, I think, and my tongs are a little magnetized from something. So 2 sticking out really good. We'll grab that. 3's right here. See if we can just get 4 and 6 and 1. So there's all our key pins out. Let's take a look at some of this other stuff. So this is definitely the trap setup down here. Some sort of pointy somethings or others. Oh, my side drill protections are falling out. I'm just going to pull them out. Don't know if the key helps or hurts here. I also don't know if these even come out all the way. They do. So that was the one that was in, we'll call it 3, 2. That was in the 5 spot. And that was in the 4 spot. And those look like they could be drivers that may fall down into this. That or they are, that's just the design of them as part of the trap system. We'll see if there's actually drivers in there or not when we get to that part. This guy probably comes out, I imagine. Yep. That's our big circular trap of some kind. Some pokey traps. What looks like a spool with a tapered section on it. And then just what looks like a standard pin. I don't know if these side guys come out. I don't think they were part of the trap system, but we'll see if they come out. They might be for profile or key control. They do pop out. I'll put them over here. We got our, this one was in our roughly our 4th spot. And then the other one is in roughly the 2nd spot. Get pushed on. There's those two guys. Rest of the core. Got some sort of cut going all the way around the outside. There were definitely these drill protection guys in there. Nothing else super fancy, I think. Go ahead and get our drivers. See if I can get a good light on them as they come out. Definitely a snug fitting follower. So standard pin in one. Get the spring out right away. At least try to. Kind of shorter springs than I expected, I think. Get two. It's a spool. Actually, it's some sort of dumbbell spool. You can see there are, it's a dumbbell shape, not purely a spool. Since that was on our lowest lift, I don't know how much he had an effect, to be honest. Go for 3. Standard pin. We'll flip it around to the other side. Now earlier, the 5 and 4 spot had things that I thought could be drivers. Well, they weren't though. Looks like whatever was in 6 and 5 just dropped out, and they were both barrels, thankfully, which tells us that, well, not really barrel. I don't know if they're barrels. They're tapered, little taper barrel guys. That was what was in 6 and 5. I think we have a spring somewhere in here still. There it is. And then let's go to 3. Another one of those dumbbells. And then get that spring out. So there you have it. You can see there's little detent spots probably for these profiley or pokey guys just to help it click and detent. And then this is a modular setup so that the length of it can be changed. So this whole setup could be lengthened or shortened. So ABUS EC880. Take a look at some of these pins closer up. So our main pin stack for our initial picking, we had a dumbbell, standard dumbbell, and then 2 tapers in the back. That's probably why we had to keep going through and tapping. And then if you remember right, we did drop stuff during these spool-like elements and have to go back through it again. And then it's also with these tapered ends on these barrels, it's pretty common to have to do as well. This stuff is what did all the trapping. So when it was rotated, these became the driver pins that I had to push on. So had some sort of tapered key pin type thing with a spool section in it. But we did have that, if you remember, we had like that false set at the end, and I think we were just on this little bit of taper that we had to tap through, or maybe one of these pokes we had to tap through. Then just like a standard pin in there that just got blocked. And then this is some sort of large trap pin setup. I'm curious, I thought there would be some sort of mechanism so that when it's active, it catches an element. So it's in the same spot as key pin 2. So we really should move all these traps over. They acted with the driver pins 1 to the left. So this reacted with that dumbbell. I wonder if the dumbbell can actually fit in here. Let's take a look. I don't know if it can. Yeah, no, I don't think it can at all in either direction. So, nope, it just pushed on it. So, and then there's these 2 side setups that I'm not 100% sure they would have reacted with anything in 3 and in 5, which are just a standard and a taper, but they don't protrude into the chamber at all. And I think they kind of sat at shear to start with, so not 100% sure what their functionality is. They may just exist for some sort of key control or something similar. Not sure if there's anything on the side of the key. It doesn't look like it. You can see when you have the traps active. So when this key is in here on the trap side, this is what it'll line up with. For that 360. I don't know if there's any other interesting thing in there. There is some, the wording does get a little bit more aggressive to the back of the core, I guess. So this key has a little cutout. I was wondering if that had any interaction, but it doesn't look like it would. I probably should line this up because it doesn't have its retention on, so this is the actual lineup spot for all those pins. So that last bit just perfectly glides on that standard pin. So as this standard pin is our trap, that little cutout is just to glide perfectly on that standard shape, as opposed to, oops, and I dropped it through, as opposed to there's no real easy way to lift it up, so it just kind of sits in that giant spot on the key. Pretty cool lock. Overall, this is the first trap lock, factory trap lock that I've picked, so, and that was the first time I picked it on camera, first gutting session. So you got to kind of see how I do things for the first time. Yeah, it wasn't too complicated of a lock to pick, but it was still interesting and challenging nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all later.